All right, everybody, welcome. I am Big Cheds. This is a replay of the Spaces I did earlier today. Spaces is on Twitter where I go live and I have a conversation, and people come up and they tell me their story, they ask questions, and we get to have this kind of informal one on one, or sometimes I have a guest speaker. They're awesome. So we had a great one today. What I've decided to do is to upload these to my YouTube channel. So I'm going to hit the play, kind of step away, and we're going to have this uploaded to the channel. I hope you enjoy it. You can just listen to it at your leisure. This way it will save it for the future. As a reminder, I am on Twitter at Big Cheds. My book, Trading Wisdom, 50 Lessons Every Trader Should Know, it's available on Amazon. The reviews are very positive, and thank you for that. 4 formats: Kindle, audiobook, hardcover, and paperback. Definitely you want to subscribe to my YouTube, Ched's Trading. Check out the masterclass webinars TA section. I think that will be very helpful and hopeful. Check out all these playlists. Tons of great stuff. The long form interviews. I have great guests. I just talked to Peter Brandt. Quick market updates. I might do a stream tonight. It would go under that category where I kind of review a few weeks of Bitcoin's price action. These are awesome. So tons of free alpha. Check that out. And of course, I am a founding analyst at Bitcoin Live. Bitcoin Live. I've been doing market updates for over 4 years. Twice a week, I do a long form, full market update, and I take altcoin requests and I answer all the questions of the members, and it's a great time. And so no matter what's going on in my life, I stop and I do that. It's something I'm really proud of. So if you have any interest in that, just let me know. Check it out. You can also get the May 4th report is free. Go to our public blog. You can see the May 4th video is there for free. May 5th, May 4th video. Check that out. Anyway, let's get this started. This is the Spaces I had today. Folks, thank you for being here. Thank you. Hopefully you enjoy it. All right, folks, welcome. If you are listening on replay, I want to say thank you. I appreciate that. I will upload this Spaces to my YouTube channel later. I've been doing that just so to kind of save them, to catalog these conversations for the future. I think we really have great conversations. I love bringing people in, and kind of hearing who you are, hearing about like what your experience is with trading, investing, whatever, crypto, and I try to add some value. I try to give you my opinion, my thoughts, be as honest as I can, and hopefully that helps you out. It definitely helps me to hear from you. I enjoy that. I enjoy the conversation. So I am Big Cheds. I'm on Twitter at Big Cheds. I'm on YouTube, Cheds Trading. You want to go watch the tutorials. You want to watch my interviews. You want to watch the free book on there. I am the author of Trading Wisdom, 50 Lessons Every Trader Should Know. You can find the free version on my YouTube channel. And I'm also a founding analyst at Bitcoin Live. Bitcoin Live is legit. I've been doing a full market update there twice a week for 4 years. I'm one of the founding analysts. We have a world-class team. When you sign up, you get access to everything. So if you're frustrated and you really want to learn how to trade for real, you want to check that out. So listen, I'd like to bring you folks in the conversation. So just hit request. I'm going to bring you up. I'll probably add 2 or 3 people at a time, just to keep the conversation flowing. And then when I call you, it will be your turn. So if you want to speak, please hit request. There's no question that's too dumb. We're all kind of in this together. So hit request to speak. You need to make sure Twitter has access to your microphone. That's really important. And otherwise, I won't be able to hear anything. I see a bunch of old names, old faces. I like to hear from the new people first. But we'll take some of the older folks as well. So listen, if you want to talk, just hit request. I'm going to bring you up. I'll bring you into the conversation, and we'll kind of go from there. So I'm going to bring up a few of you right now, and then just kind of wait till I call your name. Please. ADZ, relax. I see you, bro. I see you waving your hand. Just chill, brother. You guys need to chill, okay? It's not like the biggest deal, all right? We're just hanging out. So just relax, okay? I'm going to bring you folks up, and then when I call your name, it will be your time to speak, okay? Alex, you're up first. Alex,
Chad.
what's going on?
Hello, Chad.
Hey,
Thanks for
that's it.
having me
A to
again.
Z. Nope. That's it. You're out. I told you I will call you when it's your turn. Okay, Alex, what's going on?
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Luckily, I didn't close my short position, so like it's
Okay.
working well for me.
Yep.
Yeah, actually, I got two questions. Like, the
Sure.
first one was, what do you think about hedging strategy? Like, let's say like I have a good shorting position, but
Mm-hmm.
it's hitting a support, so like I open another long
God, a
to
lot of
hedge
people
it.
seem to be asking this question over the last few weeks, and you know why? It's because we're in a choppy channel,
Yep.
and it's not, and it's like, well, it's like, do you have confidence in your trade to ride out the chop? I mean, yeah, it's a straddle position, but I mean, I only like to do this. I have the same answer every time. I only like to do this when the price is right at a key level, right? You don't just do
Okay.
it kind of like randomly in the middle of the channel. It needs to be when the price is at like a key spot, Alex.
All right. And another one is like, do you have Instagram? Like, because like there's someone with your name is chatting with me on Instagram, like just to make sure it's not a
You
fake
know it's
account.
you know it's not me. I'm not. I'm not on Instagram because I tweet it all the time. You've been in these spaces. At the top of the
Yep.
spaces is a tweet that literally has a scammer warning and says, "I'm not on Telegram. I'm not on
Okay.
Instagram. I'm not on Discord." So, folks, you've
All
got
right.
to read the tweet at the top of this spaces. It has all the information for you. So, and thank you for asking. Yeah, I'm not on there. You know that. I can only tweet it so many times. Um, I'm only here,
Okay.
YouTube and Bitcoin Live. That's it. So
All right.
that's all you get, brother. What's that guy trying to do? He's trying to get you to sign up for something?
Now it's basically he's updating like just like right the second when you update on Twitter, he
Yeah.
basically update the same thing. So he's actually quite hardworking, and then the name is actually basically identical to yours because like no one did a fake account for Instagram, I think. So yeah, but he's
Yeah.
just
Well,
chilling
whatever.
out
I
with
mean,
me. That's why. Yeah.
if they're just putting my content on there, that's fine. But it's not me.
All right.
I don't mess with that. So thanks, man.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, let's go to ADZ. Now it's your turn. Listen, folks, I want you to wait till I call you, and then it'll be your turn to speak. What's up, ADZ?
Hey, Chaz, my bad for earlier. I apologize.
It's cool. I know you're
It's eager
excited.
to
You're
talk
so
to you.
excited. You can't wait to talk to
Of
me. I
course,
get it. I
I
get
love
it.
your
But come on.
spaces. I don't know if you see me, but I'm in most of them.
Yeah.
I want to say we're in an interesting spot now with BTC.
Yeah.
It's bouncing off the EMA 34. Would this
On the
be
daily?
potentially a good spot? Yeah, on the daily. Would this be potentially a good spot to long with a tight spot on the EMA? Because there's confluence with 22,500, isn't there?
I mean, it's not a terrible spot if you're going to go long based on the high of July 8th.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, that's fine. But look, here's what I would say. I just answered a question on the Bitcoin Live comments. I was going
yeah.
through the video. Like, support's not really that well defined here. It's like, which one is
Hmm.
support? Is it the high or low? Is it like other structure, a single wick? You don't
Hmm.
really have a very clearly defined level on the daily chart. You had one on the 4 hour. I tweeted it yesterday. I don't know if you saw it, like
Yeah,
a 4 hour.
yeah,
I said, yeah, well, you see how we rejected there and we came back, came back down. On the
yeah.
daily
I actually
chart,
took a short there.
nice job, man. So listen, I mean, on the daily chart, if you're gonna go long anywhere, yeah, have a tight stop loss. I think it's fine. I mean, I'll never say like, here's some X trade idea. Here's a trade idea, and I have a tight stop loss. I'll never say, wow, that's so irresponsible. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like reasonable, totally reasonable. And if you're not
yeah,
confident, do a smaller size. Just go much
yeah. As
smaller
long as you know
size.
where you're wrong,
Yeah,
then
I don't
feel
want a
free to
long
do
here. I'm not looking to long, but I just think Bitcoin's ready to break down any minute. But I don't know. I've been thinking that for weeks and it hasn't happened yet. So I mean, who knows?
so.
So
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? But I enjoy your spaces and I enjoy your content, and I love your dancing. So happy to
you
talk to you.
do.
Thank you for taking
Tell it to my
my. Thank
daughter.
you.
She says I keep embarrassing her. So I don't know.
No,
You
you
know.
honestly bring a joy. You bring joy to a lot of people's lives. Honestly,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
keep
Thank you,
doing what you're
man. All
doing.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Nacho, what's going on? It's your turn.
Yeah, hey, I was curious, man. Strategy wise, do you have any thoughts on just if you see a trade, taking the trade, right or wrong, versus laddering in?
Yeah, that's a great question. Wow, great question. I think laddering in's probably better. Scale in. You want to scale into your positions. You want to scale out of your positions. It gives you more flexibility. You're more adaptable. And often if you scale in, um, like you won't get wicked out. Like a spring. Think about like a double
Hello.
bottom where the second low is lower. Like it's just designed. Hey, please, folks, hit. I'm gonna mute you until it's your turn. The double bottom and then the second low is lower, right? And it comes back up. It just triggered all the stop losses from like the first, the people who use that first low as their stop loss. So if you kind of scale in, it will let you get kind of chopped around a little bit without really doing too much damage. So I actually think it's a good idea to scale in and scale out.
Thank you.
Thanks to you, bud. It is your turn, Crypto Boat. What's going on, Crypto Boat?
Hey, how you doing, Chad?
Good. What's happening?
Yeah, my problem is I have all my charts drawn, results and everything.
Okay.
Like the daily chart.
Yeah.
When I draw them and I put them on the 4 hour chart, right?
Mm-hmm.
And on the 4 hour chart, when I drew them, I see where all the support and like the resistance, like some of them are just temporary, you know. And as soon as like it goes to hit like the support or resistance, I tend to like do the opposite. I don't know why.
Well, you
Like
don't have confidence, or you're second guessing yourself. It just takes time and practice. I would say you need more time and practice. You need to try smaller positions. It will kind of make them easier to manage. You're probably doing too big a position because I can just hear the struggle in your voice.
yeah,
Why
and
don't you cut the position to a much smaller size? And it's probably you'll find that it's a lot easier to trade it.
and
What else?
when you go to the daily chart
Uh-huh.
with my markings, like I've done the horizontal markings, and with that I see like the next support is at 21,400 because I look at it when it broke that level, it went up, but it hasn't come to retest that.
What's your question? What's your question?
Yeah,
I
my
get a lot of people.
question is like if you look at the daily chart,
Uh-huh.
do you like see the same thing or
What do you mean? See what? I mean, I
like
don't. What am I seeing? Look, I just said to the earlier caller. I don't know if you heard it, and thanks for the question. It's great to hear from you again. Support is not well defined, kind of in this range. I mean, generally a bear channel rising. I mean, the most important support level is the higher low at 20.8. But there's all this kind of incremental support between here and there. But like, where is it? Is it 21.7? Is it 22.5? I mean, there's a lot of theoretical support levels, but it's just not well defined. So it's there's no surprise you're having trouble identifying the key support because it's a chop range. Let's get a few more people up here, folks. I want to hear from you. I'm Big Chad's on Twitter. Please go to YouTube and subscribe to my YouTube at Chad's Trading. It's like the hardest grind in the world. I'd love to hear your questions. Please just step up. I'll have you 1 second, folks. Just ask your question. No questions is dumb. I
Hey,
just want to hear
Chad.
from you. So request. What's up, Allah Khan? What's going on?
Hello, how are you, sir?
I'm good. And folks, when I bring you up, wait till I call your name, please. I'm good. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, sir. So I have two questions. I have to ask a question to you.
Okay.
First question is that are you a bearish or bullish on Bitcoin today?
Today?
Yes. For now,
I don't know.
this.
It's bearish today. It looks weak. So yeah, I'm bearish now, but like it's not like a day-to-day thing, you know. I think we're in a choppy range. I mean, I don't know if you've seen my other spaces. Are pretty well lit. Ma,
Yes.
please. Okay, I got to remove you. Listen,
Your
when
spaces are amazing.
when I bring you up, please don't unmute yourself. If I mute you, it's not your time to speak. If you keep unmuting yourself, I will remove you. Allah Khan,
Yes, sir.
I mean, we have to look weekly chart. Just let's just talk about the weekly chart. We're still dealing with that cluster of resistance with the
200
weekly
M.
and the EMA 8. It's still right there.
Yes.
So until if we can close above that, it's much easier to be bullish.
Yes.
And until we do that, it's still easy to say, okay, this has been a nice rally, but at some point we're going to kind of roll over. So I'm still skeptical at this point. All right.
And so what do you think about S&P 500?
I
You
think
have a
it's
same
fun to
scenario?
trade. I guess it's fun to trade. I don't track it as closely as I track Bitcoin, so I'm not really gonna speak about things that I don't really study professionally and teach about. So I mean, I guess I'll kind of That would be
I'm just asking a question, but because it relates, Bitcoins and S&P 500 always relate to each other's,
sometimes. Sometimes
Yes.
there, but with it, I mean, yeah, sure, over a long period of time, but you have days or even
Yes.
intraday where there's not strong correlation. So just trade whatever chart you're trading. If you're trading
Okay,
the
sir.
SPY, trade the SPY. If you're trading Bitcoin, trade Bitcoin.
Okay,
All
sir.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
man.
sir.
Thanks for having me up
Thank
today.
you so much.
Appreciate it. All right.
Thank
Let's
you.
see. Umer Jalil, what's going on, man?
Hey Chad, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm fine.
What can I do
Basically, I have
for
a
you?
few questions for you.
Yeah.
One is, what is the best strategy for intratrader or day trading? If I want to trade for just like for a few hours, what is the best strategy I should be looking at?
Have you gone to my YouTube yet?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of your videos, and
Yeah.
uh,
Go to the
uh,
tutorial playlist. Go to the tutorial playlist, the webinars. Okay, I got to remove you, Hesh. I'm removing you. Listen, when I bring you up, I'm going to please wait till this is frustrating. Look, I'm going to bring you up and call your name. If I'm muting you and you keep unmuting yourself, no good. You're not following the rules. I'm not going to bring you up again. All right, go ahead, Umer. What's
yeah, and my second question is, I am watching Ethereum for a few days, and I have seen that Ethereum is making higher high with the positive real relative strength,
Uh-huh.
with the volume. So I'm assuming if Bitcoin is holding on this support level, so we can see Ethereum uh, maybe higher in a few days, in coming days.
Uh-huh. What's my question? Could we
But
see
so
Ethereum higher in the coming days? Is your
yeah,
question?
so yeah, yeah.
I mean,
So my
sure, we
question is,
could. I would say Ethereum, watch the daily chart. Watch the daily MA20. That's where it found support. Let's
yeah,
see, back on July 26th. And if you actually monitor Ethereum on its initial move down, it rejected at the MA20 in May. It rejected there in end of May, early June. It rejected there again all the way back in the end of June. So that was a big level. Now that it's flipped, we want to see if that can hold as support. So I'd say watch the daily MA20 on ETH. Okay.
okay. Thank you so
Listen, if you
much.
want to trade,
Have a
if
good
you
one.
want to be a day trader and you sound like you want to learn, just read the textbooks at the top of this thread. There's a tweet. It says new follower packet right at the top of the spaces. It has textbook recommendations and video
Yeah,
recommendations.
I have seen a lot of it, but still I'm a little bit confused, when
Why?
while I trading.
Read the textbooks.
Because
Read the textbooks I'm recommending,
uh,
okay?
I don't know, but sometimes my strategy always fails on 1 hour and 4 hour. Uh,
Friend, I
I
gotta
mean,
go. I gotta go. Listen, please just read the textbooks I'm recommending. You're not listening to me. That's your best
sure,
bet,
sure.
okay? Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, let's get Camo Chamois Leather. What's up, Chamois? And folks, just hit request to speak. I'd love to hear from you. We need some more guests. Those of you who are listening quietly, I say thank you as well. It's great to have you in the conversation, but I'd like to get some more people up here requesting to speak. Let's get some questions. Chamois, what's going on? Chamois Leather.
Hi Shades, how's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Good, good. I'm basically just looking for some tips on setting your stops.
Yep.
I just found the trade, it hits the stop and then goes the other way. I'm
That's
just
okay. Listen,
listening
if you get
listening to hear
stopped
some
out,
guidance on that sort of thing.
if your trade gets stopped out and then your trade idea gets revalidated, you can go right back into the trade. So I'm playing something that keeps rejecting at 100, and then it breaks up above 100, so I go long. If it comes back below and I get stopped out, if like a few days later it goes back up above 100, I can go long again because my thesis has been revalidated. So this allows you to get chopped out a little bit, but still be able to execute when your thesis is validated. Like you're gonna oftentimes you will get chopped out before the big move comes. So I think it's okay to try a couple times, 2 or 3 times, on a certain trade idea if you're using a pretty tight stop loss. I base my stop loss based on usually a horizontal level that's nearby, not some diagonal level, not really a moving average. I'll kind of pay attention to the moving average, but my stop losses are based on horizontal levels, and that's how I trade.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you. I'm going to bring up some more people. Folks, listen, when I bring you up, please just remain silent. When it's your time, I will call you. Please do not unmute yourself. All right? You wait till it's your turn, and I'll bring you up. A couple of you folks, I'm going to give you another shot here. Sultan, what's going on, Sultan? Sultan,
Hi, man.
Bayezid, what's up?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm good, man.
You've got
Uh,
there's some echo here.
yeah.
So let's have you try to connect again or turn off something.
Okay. Yeah. My question is that in December,
Can you hear me?
December crash, we saw
Nope.
that.
You're gonna have to try again. You're gonna have to reconnect. You're gonna have to reconnect. We're getting some echo there. All right, Hesh, it's your turn, Hesh. What's going on?
Big Chats, how you doing, my man?
Good. How are you?
Excellent. I don't know if you remember me, but I've been on your spaces quite a few times.
Good to have you.
Thanks. I'm just gonna take my question is gonna be from a different angle rather than the daily PA and all of that. Sometimes traders, go or inexperienced traders might go through like some difficult times through liquidations, through getting basically zeroed out and all of that, and I see that in just throughout your life, you've probably demonstrated, you know, a great level of resilience. Seeing your, battling cancer, and now,
Thank you.
so like really, really, big respect to that. And
Thank you, bro.
yeah, so what do you say to someone that kind of got wrecked completely, and how would they start back? What type of motivation have you gone anything? Have you gone anything similar to that in terms of from a financial point of
Yeah.
view? And
Sure.
if you could
Sure.
give us
Oh
just
yeah.
something helpful like that, that would be tremendous. Once
So
again,
I've zeroed out. Thank you, bro, and thanks for coming back. Good to see
yeah,
you. I've zeroed out. I mean, I've just destroyed several trading accounts, like down to zero, and I've made like super massive errors over the years, which is like, part of my learning and part of my making up for that is to teach other people those, not to make those mistakes. So that's kind of been the arc of my social media account. For me, I have to take time off after that. I don't get like, some people say, oh, I get right back in it, but no, I'm an emotional person. I'm an emotional creature. I try to use that as my strength, but it can be my weakness. So I know when I need to step away and refocus. And what's really helped me was reading textbooks. And then kind of the real mega acceleration I went through is when I went through the CMT course. I did CMT level 1, and I finally learned like what actually was right and what was wrong. Everybody has their rules of thumb, and people believe this and believe that. But like going through CMT gave me so much incredible confidence. I'm doing that, doing the level 1 gave me a lot of confidence. So I'd say you need to take a step away, and then reading those textbooks will give you confidence, because you need confidence to trade. So I think that's kind of the progression, and that's what I would recommend to someone: is step away and then study, and then come back after you've kind of added another skill, to your skill set.
much love, my man. Greatly appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
Take care, bro. Definitely, you'll be fine.
Yeah,
Good to have you.
Good.
All right, let's see. It is time for my honcho. What's going on?
Hey, how's it going, Chads?
I'm pretty good. How are you doing?
Good. Huge fan of yours. Been watching you for a while. So
I'm a fan of yours.
I appreciate it, man. So actually, a quick question. It's kind of like two questions wrapped into one. So recently I bought Bitcoin, right? But then looking at it, I'm like, okay, if I bought Ethereum instead, I would have made more money. Or now looking at it, Bitcoin is a little bit down. I'm like, man, I wish I would have sold it at 24.5. Stacked up a little bit more money, bought back in. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that? Like mentally, like looking at, it, I'm like, I'm not a greedy person, but in the market you get greedy, and when you get too greedy, you get burnt. So I understand that. But how do you deal with that mentally? Like,
you're never gonna make the whole move. No one nails the whole move. No one picks the perfect play. Nobody like maximizes whatever. It's like we love to beat up on ourselves and oh, we suck. We're not good enough, or why didn't I do that? I should have seen it. But it's so easy after the fact. If I just played Ethereum. I mean, Ethereum had a pretty clear breakout, 1270. Like that was a clean trade. So you have to get to the point where you recognize what's opportunity and what's boredom trading. That's one thing. And that takes time and experience. I've found that if you wait for just the most clearly defined levels on a chart, it makes trading easier because the price either holds the level or it doesn't. And when I try to play kind of ill-defined levels, or I have to look at it really hard. Is it this or is it that? Like the more I look at it, and I'm not sure, like I should just not play it. So that's that. Like Bitcoin is safer than Ethereum, right? But
Correct.
Ethereum will probably have higher returns. So like, but you could play SHIB and it will have better returns probably than Ethereum, maybe, or maybe not. It's a higher beta. And so it's like it's like risk reward. It's like, do you want to go a 1 or 2x leverage, or do you want to go 50, 100? So you choose that risk threshold, the risk reward. And so like, it's, that's risk reward, right? You have to decide
Correct.
what your style is, what you like to play.
Yeah.
And that's that. I mean, that's what I like about crypto. There's just a million ways to play it. So many different things you can play. So
Yeah.
you got
I
to figure out
appreciate
what
it.
works for you, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Shads.
Thanks for stepping up. It's
Yeah.
great to have you.
Thank you.
We thank you. We got Big Jonas in the house. He decided to join the conversation. He's at Big Jonas on Twitter. Jonas, do you have any thoughts here for the fam before I roll on to Kyle?
Hey, Chads, thanks for having me. No, I just listened to a really interesting conversation here. One thought that kind of came to mind on some of your previous speakers about, how do you come back from, a bad loss, or how do you come back from a losing streak? And it's like, you really shouldn't come back from it until you understand why you had a bad loss or why you had the losing streak. It's not necessarily because you chose a point of entry and then, it was too early or too late or kept falling. There was something wrong about how you executed the thing. It wasn't the trade itself. It was how you executed it and you handled your emotions. And I think, if you're having a losing streak or you're having a really bad trade, being able to understand why that happened before you then start up again, I think is really important, or else you're probably going to make the same mistake again.
That's it. Big Jonas. Kyle, what's going on, bro? And folks, I'm going to bring up a few more people. Please request. We want to bring you in on the conversation. Please wait till I call your name. Kyle, what's up, bud?
Hey, Chads. Buy your book, reading it, love it. It is helping me in more ways than you would even know.
What,
like just
it's helping
mentally.
you fall asleep? It's helping you fall asleep at night?
Well, not that much. I get my desk and I get my pen and paper out and I'm studying, man.
I love it. Oh, I love it. I wish I could have read my book like when I started trading. I mean, that's, you know what I mean? Like that's, so I'm glad you folks can take advantage of that. So
yeah, so that's where I'm at right now. Is I'm reading your book, just trying to get myself into the right mindset. I started dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin this March, so this is like all very new to me. I guess my question is, do you have any like study tips?
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of study tips. Have you been to my YouTube yet?
I have. I do.
Good,
I follow along with your
study
book.
Tip. What study tips? So, are you journaling?
I need to. I think I need to.
Yeah, you do. I mean, that's my next book. Well, that's my next. I'm about to publish a book later this year, which is quotes. But the book 4 is going to be like a trading journal, and it's like an outline of like how some of my trades and how to fill one out. And like, you got to do it. It's why am I entering the trade? Like, my trade idea. How will I know when this idea fails? Like, how am I feeling right now? What am I thinking? What am I seeing? What's my mentality? Am I excited? You kind of all that stuff. And then the same when you're exiting, more or less. And so you have to, and that will just train you to be mindful. That's a skill that you need to continue to cultivate, not just with trading, obviously, in your relationships, in your work, and your hobbies, right? So journaling is critical. It sounds like you're putting in effort, which is fantastic. A lot of people just want to just wing it. They want to just nail it right away. They want to win easily without having to put in like hard work. And it sounds like you realize you have to put in hard work, and it makes me happy. It sounds like you're on a good path. So.
Oh yeah, this is a totally different kind of beast for me. So it's
Awesome.
Intimidating, but I'm working on my confidence, and I'm really looking forward to that book because it sounds like something that would really help me. So
I think you like it. It's a good book. I got to keep working on it. So thanks for stepping up, man.
Yeah, thanks.
Appreciate it. Jonas, I'm not going to ask you if you want to speak. If you do, just speak, and otherwise I'll keep cycling through.
Just a thought I had about studying and about like what to study, and of course, along with what you recommend for educational reading, there's a term called setup, and it's basically the precursor to a stock or coin breaking out or breaking down. And it's a consolidation, it's a tightening range. And one of the things I like to study is, the price action before the event. When you have the breakout candle, what preceded that? What were the candlesticks? What was the formation?
Shake and bake.
Yeah, and those are kind of things that I like to look for so I can recognize them next time before they happen and, position myself accordingly.
That's great. That's great. It's Big Jonas. Let's see who's next. Folks, hit request. We want to bring you up. We would love to hear your thoughts. I'm Big Cheds on Twitter. That's Big Jonas. You have to get, let's see. I'm on YouTube, Cheds Trading. Let's get one more in here. All right. Let's see. OX6608. It is your turn. What's going on?
Chads, how you doing?
I'm all right. How are you on this fine day?
Pretty good, my friend. Now that Bitcoin's dropped well below my short buy-in price, I'm feeling good. Not gonna lie.
Riding that emotional train, huh?
Yes. Here's my question. I don't do anything with trading. I don't know anything about trading. I'll be the first to admit it, and I'll be the first to admit I don't really want to learn much about it. I have a day job. I'm not interested. I just want to make money. That's my bottom line.
Good. All right. Me too.
Yeah.
We're more alike than you know.
Perfect. So, I was going to watch Great Man tonight, but because of all your posts, I canceled on my wife. I'm going to play poker tonight instead.
I don't know. Make your own decision. I was just like, what am I even looking at? But anyway, go ahead.
So here's the deal. I don't know anything about trading. Right now I'm on Phoenix. I've got like 120,000 short contracts at like just under 23. I'm up like 50K or something. To me, it looks like we're in a rising channel. I don't even know what the hell that means, but that's what it looks like on my little charts. Yep. I follow you and like two other guys. It looks like it's going to go somewhere to like 21.6 and then probably pop back up.
Reasonable.
My real question is, do I have a real chance, meaning for every dollar that Bitcoin moves, because I have the 120K contract short, I'm making $120. So it's down 400, $500. I'm doing okay. Good. Do I have a chance to make like $1 million a month just following you and two or three other guys? I've got seven figures I could play with.
$1 million a month. Can I work for you? I mean, what are we talking about here?
Yeah. No, I'm not joking. Listen, I have 7 figures on the sideline, so my liquidity is well over 25.
Me too.
I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Yeah. No, I'm saying I don't know what I'm doing, but
yeah. Listen, I love it. Listen, so
I'm not trying to beat around the bush, just trying to get beat straight here.
So a couple of things. 2 big points that jump out at me. Number one, you want to make sure the money's not driving the trade. All right. You want to make sure the fact that you have, like, I mentioned a quote book, and one of my quotes is something about like cash sitting idly in your trading account should never be the reason for the trade. So that's like point one. And I'm not saying that that's what you're saying, but that's something that comes to mind. Number 2 is it's just discipline. I don't know how disciplined you are. I don't know. That's the biggest predictor of success as a trader is how disciplined you are. Are you able to admit that my idea failed and I'm going to exit? Are you able to properly, enter into a big cascade of price, big cascade price drop? Are you able to buy at major support after it just dropped like 30%, or are you too scared? It's just discipline.
Right.
Can you stick to the plan or not? It's going to be discipline. I don't know. It's up to you.
No, so I just want to say I don't have a plan. I don't know anything about trading. I just know that whatever you and Pentoshi and a few other guys say,
those are good.
I do. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend like I know, and I'm not going to pretend like I want to learn. I just want to ride the waves and make a shit ton of money.
Well, listen, man, it's probably not going to happen. It's probably not going to happen then, because nobody gets to just, eat. You don't get to eat dessert without having your main course. I mean, you don't just get to win without putting in the effort, unless you're incredibly lucky. I don't want to learn how to trade. I just want to make $1 million a month trading. I mean, what is that? So,
no, but I'm saying like Bezos can't code, but he hires guys who know what the hell they're doing. I don't want to learn. I just want to hire the right guys or listen to the right guys. So
I would recommend
if you're that guy,
join Bitcoin Live. It's a world-class team. You get different styles and different approaches. These are all people I would stand behind, like with my reputation. So I'd try it for a month. I think you'll either find it enlightening or not. These are really high-quality people. You need some coaching. You need some of that. If you want to do what you're doing, start small. Don't jump in full force. I think Oftentimes after a big win, we get tempted to try to replicate it or do it again or do it every time. And that's when the big losses come. The biggest losses come after the biggest wins. So keep that in mind as well.
Gotcha. Can we work together?
We are working together. You joined Bitcoin Live, and you've got me twice a week, no matter what, and I answer questions throughout the week. So,
what about one-on-one DMs for your time?
I don't. It would take away time from Twitter. It would take away time from Bitcoin Live students. I mean, I give Bitcoin Live the best of me, twice a week.
Bitcoin Live.
Years. Yep.
You do so with spaces like this.
I do a full market report twice a week. I cover all the major coins. I take all the altcoin requests. I've been doing it twice a week for 3 years. I haven't, even on vacation, I'm sick. I haven't missed an update. So it's like the kind of thing, if you're serious, you want to check out.
All right, I'll check it out. Good advice. Thank you.
All right, good. Best to you.
The hardest thing as a trader to do is to know when to take a win.
Yes.
And the way that you can precipitate that is the percentage of your gain. Now, if you're using leverage, that percentage should be pretty high. If you're, or if that percentage is like, over 100%, 200%, I mean, that's a great trade,
Yeah.
So being able to close a good win out, even if it goes up or it goes down, and the market has a funny way of wicking you out of trades you think you're safe in, only to continue the same direction. So if you're in a good win, it's not the worst thing to take some profits off table, or at least move your stop loss into an area where if you get stopped out, you still feel like it's a strong winner.
Great. Big Jonas, we love having you. Let's see. Mohammed Booty, what would you like to say today?
Hey, Chet, how are you?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm just your new follower, new fan, and really interesting on your master class, which is really nice. When
You
I
like
see,
those? You like those?
yeah,
That's on YouTube, folks.
of
It's
course.
free. It's
Yeah.
at YouTube, the tutorial masterclass playlist. It's a
Yeah,
great
I
way to
just
start.
I
Yeah.
just watched the tree today,
Yeah.
and when I watch, it's really interesting. So simple, just a few moving average, and I say, oh my God, that's so simple, man. But
Simple
but
is the solution. Simple is the answer.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a few months that I follow these moving averages, the horizontal support and resistance. I have a couple of questions. When I see a coin which is breaking out on the resistance level, for example, in 4 hours time frame, but actually in daily it's not. So
Yeah.
how we should deal with these things?
Well, listen. So you need to conceptualize this. You got to think about it this way. So when you want to always understand the larger time frame, that's just important, right? But
Mhm.
so when the price is at a key level, that's when you switch to a lower time frame. So if the daily chart was climbing and climbing, and let's say right now we break out in Bitcoin and we go to like 28K,
Mhm.
like you really want to watch the 1 hour chart, 1 hour, 4 hour chart, because that's a big level. So you want to look at the short-term chart when it's at a key level. In the middle of the channel, you're just going to get chopped out. I'd say stay focused on like daily, weekly. Secondly, after volatility, that's when you switch to low time frame. So if like, and this, I say this every time. So if by the end of the spaces, Bitcoin drops $2,000, you want to start watching the 1 hour chart. You want to start looking for higher lows. You want to start looking for moving average recapture, some type of a price structure, ascending triangle, reversal, whatever. So
Right.
that's what you do.
All right. And what do you think about the Bitcoin dominance? I mean, in 2018,
Don't ever look at it. It's useless. It's not
right.
not important.
All right.
It's not important. Just trade whatever chart you're trading. Don't look at anything outside of whatever. Unless you're literally trading that chart, don't look at it. So that's my opinion. All right.
All right. And the last question.
Okay.
Most of the popular traders that say do not use leverage, do not use futures, just on the spot.
That's not true at all.
All right. Yeah.
I know many who do that. So that's it's just find what works for you. I'd say if you're gonna do leverage, go very low leverage, 2-3x. Like don't like blow out your account.
Yeah, I'm using 5x and I see my trade is good, not bad.
Good. Well, good for you, my friend. I wish you well, and I appreciate you stepping up.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Jonas, do you have any thoughts on dominance? I know we disagree on that. Do you care about that topic, or should I just kind of move on?
The only thing I'd say about it is that I don't think Bitcoin can bottom with dominance as low as it currently is. And I think it needs to go significantly higher to signify a bottom. There's so much money in dead and useless projects still. Billions and billions and billions still in these projects.
Whoa. Have you even read the white paper, bro?
Bruh.
Bruh.
So because of that, I still feel you got to see BTC dominance. I mean, at least above 55%, I think was a good target, maybe even higher. And it's honestly, it's hard to think about this market with still so much money in it and seeing how that can be achieved, you know?
Yeah.
Unless Bitcoin really goes in the low teens, in some kind of a fashion, or some sort of a government crackdown of all these securities that aren't supposed to be securities. So, yeah,
No, that's true. Yeah.
there's still kind of that thing out there. But yeah, I think it's important to keep an eye on in the sense, especially when Bitcoin dominance from a chart perspective tops off. You can feel a little more confident maybe to keep money in altcoins during that.
No, I mean, but aren't you? I mean, but you're not trading the chart, shouldn't you just look at that altcoin chart you have money in, and is it holding support or not? Like, if you allow the dominance chart maybe to convince you to ignore a support break, like that's the danger of that type of thinking.
That's why it's important to look at the BTC pairs, because then you can see bullish divergence on altcoins when Bitcoin does drop, and those are the coins that tend to be stronger on the rebound.
Yeah, relative strength, definitely. All right, it's Big Jonas. Let's get folks. We love having you on the conversation. I'm Big Cheds, author of Trading Wisdom. Get it for free on YouTube, Cheds Trading. It's my guest at Big Jonas. Folks, I'd love to hear from you. We want to hear your comments, your questions, your thoughts. Hit request. I'm going to bring you up. Please wait patiently until I call you. I bring up multiple people at a time to keep the conversation going. Let's get Mansa Musa. What's going on?
Hey Cheds. I'm kind of new. I just started following you a while ago. And I've checked out some of YouTube videos.
Great to have you.
I started trading Bitcoin like a couple of months ago, and so far, when you're a new trader and you start making a couple of money, $500, maybe $300 a day, and you just you sort of feel like, okay, let me just hold on, maybe I got lucky this time and all that. Then they're just, I don't know if I'm gonna the spirit or something just tells you, okay, just trade one more time, and probably you won't always get lucky when you trade. How do you like how do you should I say control, or how do you like stop that from happening? Because I sort of blew out my account a while back.
Yep.
And it fucking hurt.
I got
it's fuck. I saw a lot of.
It should hurt. It
was,
needs to hurt. If it doesn't hurt, you're gonna do it again.
I felt like immediately I blew out my account. I spotted some things that, oh, what if I had done this differently? What if I didn't do this? And
So
it took me right out of the market, and before it started rebounding, and I was like, God damn it.
So listen, great question. I'm so happy to have you. Thank you for the question. Thank you for following me. You're just describing, and I'm just going to let you go, but it's great to have you up here. You're describing the journey everybody goes through with a new skill set. Trading, you have money involved, and the problem is you see like after the fact too, because after the fact you're like, oh, if I had just done X or if I had just done Y, but it's a game of probabilities. You're making your best educated guess based on the strength of the trend, based on price interaction with key levels. That's all technical. It's about you having skin in the game and then learning over time. And you have to manage your risk so you can survive that process. If you have $1,000 to trade and you put $1,000 on every trade, you're not going to survive. But if you have $1,000 to trade and you put $50 on every trade, you're going to do a lot better. You'll stick around long enough to learn some things. So you need to build up muscle memory. You need to get experience. You need to kind of toughen yourself up. That's going to take probably many years, depending on how much effort you put into the equation, reading textbooks, using a trading journal, practicing, being disciplined, all that good stuff. So It's a great question. I think it's something we all go through. Let's go for Sultan Yildirim. What's up, Sultan? Sultan, are you there? Sultan Bayazid.
Hey man, how are you?
Good. What's up, Sultan?
I'm good. I'm good, man. I have basically two questions. One, I want to ask about the journaling. I do journal, but it's kind of like running commentary, what's happening and what I'm seeing in the charts. I want to request you if you can share some of your journal screenshot in your Twitter or something.
Yeah, I just did actually mention that earlier in the spaces, and I have a book coming out on that. I have the outline. It's so you want to write down why you're entering the trade. You want to write down, which is basically your thesis. You know, I'm entering because the price is breaking out of an ascending triangle, or it's retesting the lower range of a hammer candle that previously marked the bottom. And then so your stop loss is when that like idea fails. My idea fails when it closes below the hammer's wick, or when it goes this certain percentage below the hammer's wick. That's your stop loss. How am I feeling? I'm excited. I'm not sure. Write down your mind state. You have to study yourself, not just the trade. So that maybe that's the component you're missing. That's a really important component. And then when you're exiting the trade, you have to write those things down. And it's important you do it right away, because in the moment, you're the most honest with your feelings, with your emotions, with your thinking. So you have to do it right away in the moment. Be as honest as you can. Don't hide it from yourself. Don't hide it from yourself. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. And the second question is, in December crash, we saw that before the market crash, Ether pumped really hard. Is this gonna be the case this time also? Like we
Different
see Ether
context.
is
It's a different context. That's what we see in every normal market cycle. Bitcoin runs, Bitcoin pauses, then it's Ethereum, then we see Litecoin. Litecoin marked the top to the day in November. The same thing happened in April. The same thing happened in the September higher, lower high, when it was in the weekly equilibrium. So it's just a normal market topping thing. Right now it's different. We're in kind of a rising channel, rising bear channel. Sorry. We're in a bear channel, which is essentially a rising channel after the move down. It's still a correction, but we've at least forced sideways. It's just kind of a choppy range. It's different than after like a multi-month breakout, right? Because then Ethereum is moving, and then you're concerned. It's different context here. So I don't think we should be careful applying the same lessons from November and December until now, I think is what I'm trying to say, perhaps not too artfully. So thank you for stepping up. It's great to have you.
I think there's definitely a chance that Bitcoin could have a spike up bullishly, kind of out of nowhere, which
just
would
like
really
my blood pressure or my sugar. Yeah.
There's still a chance that the pain trade is on the upside, and the reason I say that is because from a chart perspective, we fell so quickly under that, call it 29,000, 28,500 area. And Bitcoin always, like many stocks, when your area of support breaks, many times you eventually see that kind of fish hook, back test that typically gets rejected and continues the downtrend. But, to put pressure on people that have already bought, to think about, taking a 10,000 point win almost on, per Bitcoin, or those that were shorting be just blown out of the water, right? Or those that were late FOMOing in and providing that kind of exit liquidity, right, for potentially the smart money. So any kind of spike quickly to that, and listen, and even today you saw what happened with Coinbase. They announced a partnership with BlackRock. BlackRock has like $11 trillion under management, and the stock ripped like 45% at the open. Now it kind of gave a lot of that back to the day, but I mean, geez, some of those options contracts were up 25,000% overnight.
That's Jesus.
So people see that, and don't tell me there's no FOMO, whatever, or euphoria. It's market still. You're damn right there is.
Well, someone's got to buy 120 on the gap up. I mean, you got to have someone to buy the enthusiasm for the guy who bought it at 80.
I feel for that guy. But that's one of those catalysts that, there was all this talk back, remember, in 2018 about the Bitcoin ETF and what would happen the day after, the Bitcoin ETF was approved, or remember BOCT, or institutional money. There was always a narrative for a specific event that would just rocket ship Bitcoin. And listen,
and now it's ETH 2.0 for the ETH.
Well, exactly. That's a narrative again. But, I think with Elon and Tesla, we saw some of that where he would say or announce a thing about Bitcoin, and Bitcoin would rip 5-6K that day.
Absolutely. But that magic's gone, right?
I think so. I think because of Elon and what's turned out to be a regretful position through Tesla, and similarly potentially with MicroStrategy at this time. Right.
Can he still pump it? I mean, he had to step down or whatever. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, let's get. That's a great commune. We'll discuss this over a glass of wine.
That should be the show.
Yeah, we should. That should be the show. Next up will be Shon. It's your turn, Shon. Shaon. Shon. It is your turn. I'll give you a few moments, and then we'll bring on NFT Eve.
Can you hear me?
Yo, what's going on?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you, friend. How do you do?
Just the next one. Okay, I've been listening to you for a long time, but I never talked to you before. So I just have some few questions.
One question, brother. Let's shoot your shot because we got other people waiting. What would you most like to say today?
Okay, all right. So what should we do if a coin doesn't have a history? How should we
avoid it?
Avoid it?
Yeah. What's your next question?
Okay. So sometimes we see a coin have resistance at 30 cents or 50 cents and 70 cents and $1.
Yep.
So sometimes if a coin can't break those resistance, so how should we what should we do in that case?
So you haven't watched it sounds like you haven't watched my YouTube channel. You want to go to YouTube Ched's Trading. There's a playlist called Tutorials Webinar. Masterclass webinar. Go watch those and then come back and ask your question again, okay?
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Good luck to you. Thank you, friend.
Yep.
Eve, NFT Eve, what is going on?
Hey, how's it going? I'm just popping in. I found you through my guru, Ivan on Tech.
Nice.
I love Ivan. I'm actually not a trader. I'm an investor. I always followed Ivan's advice. And then you and Ivan were the only ones who predicted the crash. Frankly, I haven't looked at any of my accounts since then, and I'm just saying hi. And
hello.
That's it, and I can't believe BlackRock is partnering with Coinbase. That does not surprise me one bit. And good Lord. So have a great day, everyone. Make tons of money and I'm just buying the dip, for however long we're dipping. It's okay.
Good. Well, I'm glad you stepped up. I hope you are well. I hope you do well. And we'll talk to you next time.
See ya.
All right. Right on. Let's see. Piet, P-I-E. So, folks, I want to hear from you. Please hit request. I'm here with Big Jonas. He's a legend, at least in his own mind. I don't know how much longer we'll be doing this, but we're having fun now. Hit request. I want to bring you up. Make sure Twitter has access to your microphone. Please wait for me to call you. Piet, what's up?
Hi, Chad. It's nice to talk to you. I want
to
start with a big warm thank you.
Okay.
To you. What you're doing is crazy, amazing.
Thanks.
The $30 I spent for your book were the best $30 I ever spent.
Folks, do you hear that? Do you hear that? You want to say it again?
Best $30 I ever spent.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad. So tell me, what can we do for you today?
Reading the book for the fourth time at the moment. Following your YouTubes. Yeah, I read it once, then I read all the textbooks, read it again, and I got into the process. So each time I read it again, I get more and more details out of it, what you want to say to the people, and also like your Twitter, and that brings me to the question I have. So
okay.
I totally feel you. Sometimes you're putting out a tweet and people are asking you annoying questions, and
what's a BB? And I'm like, how many times can I explain what a Bollinger Band is? Do I have to explain it every tweet?
Heavy. Yeah, but yesterday you got a little bit not angry, but you were like, okay, guys, I can't explain everything by detail to you, and I just thought, fuck, not at that post, because at that post, I was wondering myself as well, because
Yes.
we had this price interaction between, so like 4 times between the weekly MA200 and
Yeah.
the EMA8.
Yeah.
And with the second time pinching the EMA8, I was full convinced for short, and it played out. Got out at the weekly EMA200, and it pulled back so quickly 3 times. And then you put out the tweet, okay, and I think the 4th interaction with the EMA8, Bitcoin working on an upthrust.
Yes.
And with that 4th, okay, we have that bearish divergence in the chart. That's true,
OBV.
but
Yeah.
yeah, OBV. But in case of the strong pullback 3 or 4 times, I was like, okay, I'm not sure if the resistance is holding again. So I just want to know your thoughts about that, why you were still that convinced. Thanks.
All right. So first of all, 3 things. First of all, thank you so much. I'm glad you read it. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I appreciate your support. Makes me feel like what I'm doing is working. It's right. It's useful, and it's good to have purpose and all that. So thank you for that. Secondly, like I'm human, so like I can snap at people. I can, some days I have more patience than others. Maybe it's like not everyone's like the best of themselves every day, and especially if I'm tweeting 18 hours a day. So there's moments where I'm like, I wish I hadn't said that this way. I wish, and so so I'm human, and so you get all of it, right? The good and the bad. So EMA8, like EMA8's kind of flattening out too. So like I'm ready for the price to break above it. It's not like it's been testing it on a steep decline, right? We already know what the daily chart's doing. We already know the daily's flipped the EMA 34, and we know that's important because we're students of the chart. We studied the daily chart, right? We know why that's important. That's what happened back in February, followed by about 6 weeks of sideways and an attempted breakout. We know that is important. That means we have a weakened bear trend on the daily, but the weekly is right at a key pivot. We've traded Bitcoin. We've studied the chart, especially in the weekly over the years. We know the weekly EMA8 is incredibly important. So, but it's about the context of the price moving average interaction. We're not tagging the EMA8 after a sharp drop below the lower Bollinger Band and then an aggressive bounce up to the EMA8. It's more after we're kind of going a little bit of a sideways action here. So it's less important than if it's after like a really violent hit. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, get you. Thank you.
The rate of movement, it's how aggressively the price is moving into it. We're kind of sideways tap dancing into the EMA8 here on the weekly. So I wouldn't be surprised to see the price flip it, which is why I'm watching, and I'm kind of open-minded that it might happen. Okay.
Understand. But
Great
you
to have
also
you. Yeah.
would not wonder if it touches 3 or 4 times again and gets rejected also. So that's what I understood, right? So it could also easily be.
I mean, I just have in my mind the concept of the relief rally that began at 17K and had potential since the beginning to go as high as 28K, the underside of the prior loss support. So I just have that in my mind as the context. I have the context of the now sideways price movement on the daily, but I also have the larger time frame, the weekly. So you just got to kind of mix it all in together. It's never one exact thing. All right.
Thank you, Chad.
Cheers.
Keep on doing.
Thank you, friend. It was great to have you. All right, great. I'm Big Cheds. We have at Big Jonas in the house. Please check out the tweet at the top of the spaces. There's free resources, textbooks, study materials, videos. Nick Fest, what would you like to say? Good to see you. What's up, Nick? Nick Fester, are you there, brother? If not, I am going to keep you on hold. Yo.
Yeah.
Hey.
How's it going, mate?
Good. It's great to have you. What's going on?
I've got a bit of a fundamentals question, so maybe it's more suited to Big Jonas. I know you're not big on fundamentals.
Yeah, go ahead and ask him. Jonas, this is for you.
So I'm very interested in the whole thing of the whales and manipulation of the markets, all that kind of stuff. And I just love to know, like on a daily basis, how real is that, and
Not
how much?
it's irrelevant. It's nonsense. It doesn't matter.
I,
What is that? Is that actionable? How are you going to like? What does that matter? What does it do for you? Just it's like
okay.
it's just trying to
So for me,
explain random things behind the chart. So that's my answer. And then Jonas can speak on that.
yes. I'm talking more as somebody who hodls, and I'm an investment type of guy. So that kind of stuff interests me.
You mean but that's like on chain. You don't know why people are moving wallets around. Like
Yeah.
anything that's outside of the chart is not as good. You don't know the validity or the fidelity, the quality of that signal. So just focus on the chart. Jonas, what do you got?
My biggest interest in large wallet transactions really derives from how dormant the wallet had been. I think it was recently there was a wallet that hadn't been touched since like 2010, 2011, that transferred a lot of Bitcoin, like what, 8,000 or something, Coinbase. And I just found that kind of interesting in the sense of how much that person hadn't touched it, how long, there's not that many of those left. We have to realize that such a small amount of people control most of the Bitcoin. It's comparable, but more honestly extreme than the robber barons of the late 1800s and all the way to like the Rockefellers in terms of how much money they had per everybody else. So because of that super concentration of control, and that has a lot to do with miners as well. Bitcoin isn't as decentralized as people talk about. Because of that, then manipulation is always a possibility, if not a probability, if not an inevitability. And it's one of those things that reminds you that most markets try to be fair. They try and be transparent and be up to date with the accuracies and intrinsics of it. That's what the stock market is supposed to provide. The crypto market is, even though we can see all these transactions, when you add leverage to it, what we've seen is that it take a lot of Bitcoin to produce a massive risk to the whole ecosystem. And a lot of what the drawdown was of the past, 2 months ago, whatever, had a lot to do with that. So these are the kind of the things I think about more broadly when it comes to the overall sense of who controls Bitcoin and what can they do with it.
Brilliant. And Cheds, do you take note of volume on a daily basis?
Definitely. Volume is incredibly important, not just for candlestick analysis, Eastern TA, for Western, for classical. I want to see volume on a breakout. I want to see it at the top and the bottom. I want to see if I'm playing a head and shoulders, I want more volume on the left shoulder, a little bit less in the head, even less on the right shoulder. So I understand kind of volume, how it should look, and the context of it. Absolutely. So that's
Brilliant.
great to have you, Nick. I hope you do well, bud.
All right. Excellent, man. Take care.
Cheers. Good to have you. I'm going to try to keep the conversation going, folks. I'm going to bring you up. Please ask the most important question. We're starting to pile up a bunch of requests now. We're going to try to go through these quicker. I'll bring you up. Please remain on mute until I call you. I'm Big Cheds. That's at Big Jonas. Please consider following both of us on Twitter. And also, please consider going to my YouTube channel, Cheds Trading, and hitting subscribe. That'd be a way to pay me back. It's super hard to get followers on YouTube, so please consider doing that. Ahmad Sahar, what's going on? It's your turn, Ahmad. Ahmad Sahar, 18. Are you there, brother? Give you a few moments, and then we'll bring on Mini Market Makers. Ahmad, are you there? Mini, are you there? Mini Market
I am,
Makers.
yes.
Hi, how you doing?
Hi, thanks for calling on me. Doing well. I just have a question that might be a bit of a beginner level question, but you could potentially answer it pretty quickly. And with this big of a crowd, I figure there's got to be people it would speak to. I'm very curious. I've been an investor in crypto for a long time and a trader when it comes to very general trading. I wouldn't call myself a trader, but I'd buy the big swing highs or the big swing lows and sell the big swing highs. But I'm new to really paying close attention to TA and trying to time entries and exits a lot better. And my question is, when it comes to drawing trend lines, I have found far more accuracy for my personal decision making when I draw the trend lines with regard to the body of the candle and paying close attention to the actual candle rather than the wick. I'll ignore the wick and try to draw the line through as many wicks as possible. But I feel like no one else does that, and I'm curious what your take on that sort of thing is.
Great question. It's actually a different answer depending on the market. So if you look at candlestick theory, and you read Steve Nissen's book, the one I recommend, the yellow book, the candlestick bodies the essence of the price movement. And that makes sense if you're trading equities that open and close and have gaps. Crypto doesn't. So you actually want to de-emphasize that body, the way you're thinking. It's not about the body or the wick. It's about drawing the essence of the price movement. There is no a trend line. There is no line. There's only a trend. Okay, that is the purpose of a trend line is to identify a trend, not a line. It doesn't matter where you put it, this wick, that wick. Are you generally describing a falling level of supply or resistance? Are you generally describing the price movement? Because you're not executing trades off a diagonal line. That's how you lose all your money, right? You execute your trades based on a horizontal zone break. The purpose of a diagonal break is to alert you to when to start to look for a horizontal break. So de-emphasize trading based on some line that you don't even know if you're drawing on the body or the wick. That's you're going to really get in a lot of trouble with that approach, right? We're in a 24/7 market. There are no gaps. Just draw the trend. There's no line. It's just a trend, okay?
Thank you for that. That makes a lot of sense, and especially when you say that, like embodying the essence and not trading off of a line. I've kind of always felt that mindset, but I've felt maybe that I put too much weight on the importance of the accuracy of the line itself. So that's
it's
helpful.
not. There's no correct line. Actually, that's the answer. There actually is no correct line. So there's just several possible correct lines. Sorry, I had to cough there. Thank you. Great question, Jonas. What do you got?
Just, I know you're focused on Japanese candlesticks.
And sushi too.
I was just going to say Thai food.
Yep, that too, yep.
I thought about changing from candlestick to line chart, and you get kind of a different look at it.
Right, divergence, it works really well.
Yeah, and even like Heikinashi, just to throw it in there, the chart is supposed to represent price over time, and we delineate these with shapes. But you can look at different shapes that are the same thing based on the same math, and they kind of have a different look to them. So, if I'm trying to find a trend reversal, and maybe I'm not finding the right information that I want to find from the candlesticks, something like Heikinashi, which I like to look for really tight dojis, which tend to signal a reversal, can give you a different perspective on pretty much the same chart.
I haven't thought about that. I actually think that's kind of dangerous. I almost feel like that's changing the time frame to suit the bias. And I'm not saying you're wrong, and it's probably decent advice, but I think actually you should pick a method. If you're trading in the line chart, trade in the line chart. Like, don't switch to the candlesticks if you're not sure. Like, your method needs to be systematic, and it needs to be either bar chart, line chart, raindrop chart, whatever you're doing. That's your method. Stick with it. Don't be switching it around, because you're going to find that you're just going to look for something to satisfy the idea you already had, rather than letting the price structure generate the idea. Do you see what I'm saying?
If I can satisfy my bias by looking at the 15-minute Renko chart, I'm going to do it.
Renko, isn't that the one that's it's just all blocks, and it's slower than the Heikinashi, right? Renko?
Yeah, it's actually pretty interesting. It creates a range, and when the range is violated, you get a new block. But
you should tweet some of those out. Tweet some of those out. No one's doing that. That'd be interesting. All right, let's get some more folks up in here. Paper hands. What's up?
Hey Cheds, how you doing? Long time listener, first time caller. So
thanks.
Huge fan of yours. Read your book, watched all your masterclasses, studying level 1 CMT.
Yes.
You're my inspiration. So thank you for all you do in the space.
You're
doing a great job.
You're the wind beneath my wings, buddy.
Oh, look, you come to London, Cheds, and there's a beer here for you, cold hip beer here for you.
Oh, that's an invitation right there. What's going on?
So I'm still learning trading. I'm about a year into my journey, and your book says that signals on lower time frames are generally sort of less effective.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, with my trading, should I be on the 15-minute chart,
No.
taking 20 trades a day
No.
with appropriate risk management, of
Well, a
course,
couple things.
to get
couple
experience,
things.
or
Okay.
should I be operating on the daily,
Yep.
taking 1 or 2 trades a day
Yeah,
and dealing with higher time frame signals?
Should you? I mean, what's your style too? Everyone's a little different. I'll say a few things. Like I just read Peter Brandt's book for an interview I did with him on my YouTube channel. Have you seen the interview yet, by the way?
Of course, yeah. It's
oh my
awesome.
God.
What a guy.
How cool is that?
Yeah, it's
and
great.
he like he's trading off of like 12-week patterns. He's waiting for like a head and shoulders to develop over 3 months. And okay. So number one. Number two, like successful traders are going to win less, like a third of their trades, 30-40% of their trades will be winners. It's how they manage their losers. So there's that. And then 3, like that's pretty hectic. Like you're playing that many trades. Like that's stressful. That's high energy. Can you do that? I don't know how your brain works. I don't know if you have a job, other things you need to do. So you got to kind of find the best fit for you. I will say I'm impressed. You're a year in and you're already doing CMT. I think you're going to do great. That shows you really want to do it. That's fantastic. I mean, wow. So
I'm trying hard, yeah. But look, so some days I can dedicate the day to it. So I'm, it's really on those days. Is it on those days that I should be taking as many trades as I can on a low time frame just to get experience?
4 hours. I think 4 hours is a really good time frame to learn how to trade.
Yeah.
And if you're willing to get stopped out, all that stuff, it's like low enough that you get a little bit of action, but it's long enough that it's not like super irresponsible. I would say it's like probably like a 5 or 10x leverage. I try to use that metaphor, right? 15-minute charts like 50x, a 5-minute charts like 100x leverage trade. It's super risky, but you get stopped out easily. You have to really, really nail it. You're reading these textbooks, you've watched my videos, you understand like the lower the time frame, the weaker the signal. But there's context too. Like if there's a big volatility, a big price drop, then you can use lower time frame. I think you probably shouldn't be just saying what time frame should I use. I think you should let the price action dictate that. And if it's a slow sideways choppy channel, trade in the daily chart. If it's a kind of action type of channel, go to the 4 hour, 1 hour. You know what I mean? You have to kind of let the price guide it, not like maybe not you. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, sure. That's great advice. Thank you. I have one other quick question, if I can, Jeds.
Yeah, sure.
It's kind of related to what you were just saying, but price has a habit of moving quickly between points of interest, right? So it'll stall at support or resistance and then very quickly move when it does move to the next support or resistance. But what I'm finding is once it's there, once it's at support or resistance, it kind of feels like a coin flip to me as to which way it's going to go.
Well,
So
it depends. Are you talking about a rectangle or are you talking about like a bull flag?
Well,
it depends on what are we talking about.
I mean, I'm trying to draw horizontal lines, right? So when price is coming up to a horizontal line, my horizontal resistance, say, and then it gets there and it's stalling, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking this has a 50-50 chance of going either way. And I just wondered if you had any advice for kind of dealing with that, because quite often I get stopped out because it'll on a 30-minute candle it'll break through resistance and I'll buy, and then on the next 30 minutes candle it's back through that line.
Yeah, it's 30 minutes, right? It's a 30-minute chart. You're going to get that. I mean, it's just if you make it, and I'll let Jonas speak in this because I think he put this really well. He's like, if you're making a 30-minute chart, it needs to be a 30-minute trade. You're not holding that for a day or like 2 days. I mean, that's like a kind of a high frequency type of move. Last thing I'll say, and then I'll move on to Jonas, and it's great to have you because I want to get more people in the conversation. Not all horizontal lines or zones are created equally as well, and you know this. So you want to kind of look at kind of the most well-defined areas and focus on those. The ones that aren't well-defined are going to chop. So that's what I'll say there. Jonas, you have any thoughts in this subject or?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of answered it. It was, if you're making a 15-minute trade, you need to do a 15-minute entry and exit of that trade, because the wicks on the lower time frames, are what you're trying to catch, So if I'm using the 5 and the 15 to try and snipe an entry on a quick hit of volatility, I'm just looking to get, a little piece of that wick on the way up, and a few percentage points that can add up a little higher with leverage. If I'm looking at the 4 hour, the 6 hour, 12 hour, the daily, I'm looking to enter into a trade that's more of a swing trade that I could potentially hold for longer, and a lot of that has to do with finding that confirmation, and allowing the higher time frame to kind of make you more comfortable in that trade. And that's why you don't have to trade every day, but you can. You don't have to take a million trades, but if you are, keep an eye on the fees you're paying, because those can add up very quickly over time.
Yes.
And take a lot of your profit. So understand maker and taker fees, and make sure you account for those fees in your stop loss as well. Because like you'd be shocked if you look to see how much money you actually spend on fees. And if you're doing that much on fees, you got to make it count. You got to make sure you're making a lot more than what you're paying in the fees there. So time frame is extremely important in any context, and just know if you're using lower time frame, you shouldn't be in that trade very long at all.
Great.
That's awesome advice. Thanks, both of you. Really appreciate your time.
Hey, wish you best of luck. Keep me posted how it goes. Thanks for stepping up here. So DYOFR, you're up next, folks. I'd like to bring you into the conversation. When I do, make sure Twitter has access to your microphone, and then mute and wait for your time. DYOFR, what's going on?
Hey, can you hear me?
We're loud and clear.
All right, thank you so much. I've been following you for a few months now. It's been a great education. I guess my question is related to how crypto is sort of like currencies, like the part of it that's sort of like currencies, meaning and relating to your end goal as a trader. And basically, are you trying to come home with your home currency, or are you trying to accumulate Bitcoin as your end goal? And then also, what's the fastest horse of the week? And like if Ethereum is moving faster, or Avalanche is moving faster, or Binance Coin, how much does that incorporate into your trading strategy of trying to accumulate the most end currency that you're trying to get? And sort of like when you had someone on about the dominance of Bitcoin, and I also look at like the dominance of Ethereum. You can just go look at the ETH BTC chart on some exchange and get a similar chart instead of ETH dominance, and you can trade that and say, oh, ETH is moving faster than Bitcoin today. I should do that because I can accumulate faster if I trade that way for today. So I was just wondering, like, how much does that? I know you post Bitcoin charts, but I was just wondering, like, are you trying to accumulate your home currency, or are you trying to accumulate Bitcoin, or like how does moving into the altcoins factor into that process?
Thank you. Great question. There's a lot there. It's almost like which thread do I want to pull? You've handed me a sweater.
Yeah, I'm patient, man. Like whatever you're comfortable with, I'm happy to hear your point of view.
Great. It's so great to have you. Thank you for stepping up. That's a great next topic. Thank you so much. It's different for everybody, and I've had the different approach over the years too, based on my financial situations. I mean, I was in really tough shape back in 2017, fighting cancer, and I was having to do I was in tough shape financially that time. And so what I was trying to do then is different than what I'm trying to do now. What's your risk threshold? What are your financial situation? It depends. Like Michael Saylor says he's exiting fiat, whatever that means. It kind of sounds like nonsense to me. I'd like to slowly over time increase my net wealth, for my family, and just to but money's not that as important to me as it was in the past. Like, I'm just happy to be alive. I love doing these spaces. I love just hanging out with you folks, and I like being good at something. I feel like I'm pretty good at this. I like talking about it. I like helping people, and so this is fun. So it's not. I don't know. It's not all about that for me. So I'm different than you. Everyone has a different approach. You got to figure out what your approach is and how to get there. In terms of like playing ETH or BTC, there's times for that. Like when Bitcoin's ripping, you play Bitcoin. When it pauses, you play alts. Money flows into ETH, and then it flows into the other alts. Like if Bitcoin has a super run, pauses, then ETH has a super run. Then you can go to those second, third tier alts because they're going to start to get a little action too. So you kind of see almost a cascade through the ecosystem. So there's an ebb and flow to that through the consolidation cycles. You kind of observe that, that you trade with that over time. I guess that's how I would answer that. Jonas, do you have any thoughts on that one? This is an interesting question.
In this ecosystem, it's kind of the most important question. You know, it all started with Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin has the highest market cap; it always has. But it's got issues that its transactability is not as good compared to potentially other networks. But it is the most secure in terms of its longevity, and therefore its valuation as of today is 22,000 ish per Bitcoin. In terms of personally continuing to acquire Bitcoin over the long term, you know, this was the question asked by a lot of people in 2018 and 2019, especially with altcoins as well. I mean, we went through something very special in 2020 and 2021 with what happened with Dogecoin and SHIB and countless other altcoins that made life-changing parabolic percentage moves. So a lot of people participated in that, got a piece of that, had it, lost it, and some never played any of them at all. So that's the question moving forward that investors always have to deal with, is that, you know, is this run going to happen again? Is something like what we experienced last year going to happen again? And if so, how long? And can I be patient enough to continue to add to a portfolio and all that stuff? And then from there, it's like, what are my expectations? You know, if Bitcoin went from 20K to 60K plus, so it basically 3x the previous all-time high. The diminishing returns continue. So now that 60 whatever 8K was the all-time high, so at 3x the last one, maybe the next time it doubles. So from the previous all-time high. So you have to ask yourself, you know, what kind of a return makes the most sense? You know, what is probably going to be around longer, Bitcoin, but what might offer you more longer-term profits, or if you're able to hold through a long time, might be an altcoin or two, or those might not even exist. So that's the risk threshold that you have to take. But those people that took that risk, you know, in 2018 and 2019 were tested numerous times, and if they were able to hold on, they had a chance to make a trade of a lifetime. So that's kind of what we deal with in this ecosystem. And I think this personally, that this phase of the market is going to take much longer and need to weed out a lot more what I consider dead money before we have any kind of meaningful turnaround. And remember, Bitcoin ripped in 2019 to 14K, you know, before it came all the way back down to 4K. So we might have vicious moves on the bullish side that still contain a lower high in the overall chart.
That's awesome. Great thoughts. That's at Big Jonas. I'm at, just quick reset here. We'll get a few more of you folks in here. I'm at Big Cheds. It's at Big Jonas. I'm the author of Trading Wisdom. Check it out on Amazon or for free on my YouTube, Cheds Trading. Let's see. I am gonna make it. What's up?
Hey, Chads. Thank you for
Yo.
having me. Great
Hi.
fan of yours, man.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Just had a quick question. So, in terms of, I was an investor the whole time, and I'm just starting to get into technical analysis after, you know, being a fan of yours and everything. So, what, and I've looked at all your YouTube videos and things like that. So, in terms of technical analysis book, would you say the CMT curriculum book that you've penned is as the best book to start off as fundamentals?
Definitely not. Definitely do not start with that. No. You don't want to start with it. I would probably read the Candlestick book first. It's the easiest. That's the one where there's a risk where you read it and you're like, this is too hard, and you'd give up. I don't think there's any chance of that with the yellow book, the Candlestick book. It's fun. You really would like to read. And then you move on, you read classical charting, you read the Shawbacker book. I'm old school, right? There's the Edwards and McGee modern version. I like to go Shawbacker, the green book, classical charting. And then you'll kind of see what one thing says about this situation, when the other one thing says about that. And you'll start to kind of bridge in your mind the concepts. And then you go do CMT and see what the real answer is. You'll do it in that order. But you got to read my book first. Sorry, my book. Read my book first, and
Sure,
then go
definitely.
do that. Okay.
And what was the book's name on the yellow book you said?
It's
Was
called
the
Japanese
yeah.
Candlestick Charting Techniques. It's Nison, Nison. The yellow book. He's got a red book. He's got two. I've got both of them. But go for the yellow one, and you'll be fine with that. All right.
All right. Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Great to have you there. Thank you so much.
You know, there are two kinds of books in trading. You know, there's the technical side of it, and then there's the mental side of it. And I think both can be important learning tools to help you become a better trader. Having the technical know-how to identify a trade is one thing, but executing it and mentally being able to handle it is another. And you know, it brings to mind Chad's conversation that we had recently about the amount of stress it puts on you being in a decent amount of positions with a decent amount of money in play.
It owns you. It owns you.
And
It owns you.
it should in the sense that, you know, there's risk and you should monitor it and that kind of a
Why
thing.
should own you? You should be aware of it, but
it should be the risk of the profession, you know, that's the catch, you know. It's obviously the execution of the trade, but it's the mental drain that you get from sitting from a computer or using your phone. And a lot of trading is to be able to mentally withstand that emotion, to bail out too early, to cut and run, and to make a stupid decision that can cost you a lot of money.
Very interesting. Huh. You can extra thoughtful today, Big Jonas. We appreciate it. That was really good. All right, Dustin, it's your turn. Dustin Silva.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up, Dustin?
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it, man.
Of course.
I have your book. I love it. It's amazing. I just want to say thank you for that.
Cool.
So my question is around an altcoin that's not very well known, but for me, it's like got crazy potential. But I've just kind of like been buying and selling and writing it down to like nothing. But it's basically like partnered with like one of the largest soccer leagues in the world, and they're about to go into their season. They're about to in every stadium have like this coin like advertised in every stadium. They're going to do influencers and all this stuff.
Let me ask you a question. If that's important, why not wait to see it reflected in the price? Right?
Because there's the fear of missing out of the initial.
You'll never miss out. You know, I mean, you can miss the first 5 or 10%, but if what you're saying is so important, it's going to start a new bull run. Like, what does it matter if you miss the first like a few percent? Right. So you kind of have both those ideas. The two ideas are inconsistent because I've done it. Right. I played penny stocks. I bought them on forward-looking statements and ideas and partnerships, and I allowed myself to keep adding to a bad idea, adding to a losing idea, because in a month something's going to happen. But the market knows about it. It's reflected in the price. All that matters is there demand or not. And there's the myth. You never miss the bottom. It doesn't exist. Nobody nails the bottom, and never happens. But what matters is, can you recognize when the trend changes and profit from it? You talk about Peter Brandt. I did an interview with him, and he had a great book, his journal on trading. Where is it? It's right here. Diary of a Professional Commodities Trader. He talks about trading within the 30-yard line in football. If you think about it, right, it's going to turn around, and you get the whole meat of the move. If what you're saying, these partnerships, is such a game changer. Is it so good that the run's only going to last 2 weeks? What do you mean miss the bottom? If it's changing the trend, it's going to be a 2-year bull run or whatever, right? If it's that big a deal, if it's so big a deal that you're allowing yourself to keep adding to a losing idea, then you have to realize there is no such thing as the bottom. If the price turns around, then I'll buy there and I'll ride the trend. All right.
So there's no way to really like trade around fundamentals, in your opinion. It's all based on
fundamentals it's an idea of what the price might do, but at the end of the day, the price either holds support or not. That's more important than a partnership. If the price doesn't hold support, everything, it's just words. Everything else is just words.
Because I find that if I miss an initial move, for me, it's very challenging to get into the trade again, because I don't know whether I should buy at like where it returns. And
don't place something below the daily MA200. Everything is in a downtrend right now. If you just wait, okay, any altcoin that starts to get back up above the daily MA200, you can buy it. And your stop loss is if the price goes back below the MA200. There's just a simple idea there. The MA200 is the trend in classical charting. And some of these altcoins like Uni is above the MA200. That has relative strength. Look at what plays are stronger than others, and that's a really big level. So that would flip the downtrend potentially, or at least stop the downtrend. So just do that. That's super simple. You should be able to execute that.
And so just wait till it flips a horizontal support and then come back and retest and then buy in? Is that
It depends on the chart. You have to watch my webinars. It depends on the chart. Ideally, well, let's say you were on the sidelines for Bitcoin. You'd want to buy if it breaks 28K, or especially the daily MA200, because those are two big time resistances. And if you've waited this whole time, you can actually buy when it flips those two, because that means it's probably going to go to 50, 60K, or at least 45K, because that would be a big flip of price structure. So pay attention to major support that's lost, and then once it's recaptured, pay attention to that. Right? Think about those momentum levels. But just simply put, watch my webinars and buy these altcoins if they start to regain and use that as your stop loss. All right.
Okay. Thank you so much, man.
That was a lot of thoughts there. We got just a few more. Vibes, it's your turn. Vibes and Horizons. What's going on?
What's up, bro?
Hi. What's
Thanks
up,
for all you do. Watched all your videos. Really trying to focus on the horizontal levels. It's helped me out a lot.
Okay. Great.
Still struggling with getting my entry though, correct?
Yeah.
Still getting stopped out a lot, and my idea has been playing out, but I'm entering at the wrong spot. So my question is kind of similar. Like when you have a long trigger on a big level, are you waiting for a 4-hour close? Are you waiting for a retest, or are you going straight in?
Yeah, I either buy. It's a great question. So I watch it all day. I'm not, I don't work a 9 to 5 at this point in my life. So I watch it. I trade all day. So I'll trade inter-candle, but if I miss it, I'll wait for the retest. I'm not going to play in the middle of the channel, right? I wait for a breakout, or I wait for a retest of support. And I always watch out for a false move, a false break of support, or a false break of resistance. That's like 80% of my trades come from like false breakouts. They're just the best signals. I really pay attention to when support is broken and then recaptured in reverse for resistance.
Is there anything specifically after your long price is triggered that you're looking for that would let you know that it's going to be a deviation?
It's just the price either getting back up above the level. I just watch the level, and I watch the candles too. I look for candle weakness. If I see a series of of wicks in a certain area, if I see a lot of lower wicks near support, it's a sign that maybe bulls are going to rally a little bit. So you can pay attention to candle body structure. I mean, look at Bitcoin. It gave us really nice Japanese candlestick signals on. Look at the candle progression from July 27th, big green. Another big green in the 28th, but smaller, and then the spinning top and the shooting star. It was just like, okay, I get it, right? At that point, you're already thinking, what is that? 4 or 5 days ago, you're already thinking that it's probably going to come back to where we are now. And so now here, it's a question of what do we do now that we're kind of starting to test the top of that support range, right? That support range from, 20.8 up to whatever 22. It's not well defined. It's kind of a zone, but the candles are giving you great signals. So read the candlestick book, pay attention to candle body progression, the wicks, and use those with the Bollinger Bands too. You want to combine that. I talk about this a lot on my YouTube channel. Go watch the webinar playlist. All right.
All right. Thanks, man.
Cool. We got a couple more. Perry, it's your turn. What's up, Perry? Last guest. Perry, are you there? Perry Vonk.
Oh, yes. Sorry. I was on mute.
Your time to shine, Perry. What's going on, bud? Good job.
Listen to you guys both. You guys are amazing. You're a good 1-2 punch. I'm a Bitcoin member, a Bitcoin Live member.
Excellent. How do you like it?
I love it. It's opening up horizons. I'm at the point where I'm over analyzing everything, and I am trying to educate myself and not actually stepping into the market. That's my problem right now. It's almost like paralyzed by, I need to understand more. I'm trying to follow your playbook, reading the books. I started taking the CMT.
Good.
It's kind of I started with $20 at 20 times leverage just to kind of see what I could do.
Sure.
And I kind of stopped it as I started going over analyzing. So I guess.
Yes.
And I got a day job, so
I hear a lot of frustration in your voice.
Yes.
Yes.
So it seems so easy for you.
What? No. It's still hard. It's still really hard. It's still really hard. I still get frustrated all the time. Like, believe me. So, but you just got to get a little bit better every day, and you remember things. You just focus on your good habits, your bad habits. Am I being disciplined? Is this a boredom trade, or is there opportunity? Right. So, you like, if you're going to start a new skill set, if you're going to teach yourself how to like rebuild cars, I mean, are you going to get really good at it right away? You need like a lot of experience. So you need to be betting less. You need to be betting tiny amounts over time and heavily journaling, because if you're in your head, why don't you write what's in your head and start to focus on it, and then look for patterns over time. You got to journal. If you're cerebral, you need to be taking advantage of that. So I would heavily journal. I would bet less. I would reset your expectations. Understand that it's going to take you a long time to get to a point where you're comfortable. When you have skills and muscle memory, then you can have confidence, and not only then can you execute the trades correctly.
Because I watched the levels, everything you said, like at 1270, I was like, okay, I should jump in a small bit, and then I held off, and then it went, and then I was like, okay, do I jump in now? Am I FOMOing? Am I?
Yep.
You know what I mean?
So listen, you're always going to have doubt. So the only solution is practice. Just keep reminding yourself that this is your answer. You just got to keep practicing. And the only way to survive that is to keep betting really small amounts and stick to your stop loss. Okay.
Well, and that's like I said, $20, like 20 times leverage and a tight stop loss.
Don't do it. No, suck. No. That's the wrong way. The absolute wrong approach. Do like 1-2x trades. Okay. Like, until you're really good at that. You got to get practice, because now 20x. I mean, what are we doing here? Come on. Like,
well, it was like $20 if I
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's the worst thing that could happen to you would be that if you were successful, because now you'd probably transfer in $5,000 and try it again and lose it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I hear that.
Okay. Do you hear me?
I do.
All right. Keep it up.
All right. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thank you. Wow, that was great. Great way to finish it up. What's up, Jonas? Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, how we can find out more about you, and maybe some final thoughts for the spaces. It was a great time today.
Yeah, it's always a good conversation with you. A lot of the questions were very similar to what we normally hear. People aren't really sure about this market. They know Bitcoin bounced, and it's still kind of arguable. It didn't really do anything yet. I mean, it's still at 22. It's been at 22, 21. I mean, is 21 bearish and 23 bullish? What has happened, though, is some really nice bounces in a lot of altcoins, and we're not seeing a lot of follow through, at least for the past several days. And I think that's kind of frustrated a lot of bulls, because they're expecting that kind of next move higher. And the past week of daily Bitcoin candles is just this upper wicked, lower low closing bodies every day, and one could argue it's just consolidation, higher low, just doing a back test here. But what you talked about earlier about overall being in this bear channel, I think that kind of still remains. And the stock market's been on a ripper for the past like 2 weeks, and it's stalling out just a little bit. So we're kind of finding a new inflection point now as we start the month of August. And historically, September and October are very volatile times. So we're kind of see how the market wants to position itself this last month of the summer, if you will, at least for those of us of the Northern Hemisphere. But yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Big Jonas, and check out my super follow as well. Just starting that, looking forward to putting out some really strong content there.
Tell us more about that. What's the super follow? How can we find out more about that? What does it mean? What do we get?
Still working on the details of that. Basically, it's going to be some exclusive content provided to my Twitter followers who would like to sign up for the super follow. And I have a lot of ideas about the overall market, and I think especially now when everything seems to be consolidating after a bull move in equities, the derivative price action of crypto has been somewhat stalled out And I think Bitcoin, as it came down, will also lead again in terms of what transforms this overall market. And we talked about earlier about dominance. I still think that's really important as to the fact that it's so low right now. I think we still have a ways to go from a structural standpoint to find some sort of the bottom pattern. And I've said it many times. We're not going to know it's a bottom for probably a year after it actually happens. So in that, there's a different way to think about it, and obviously that should be like a longer term perspective, but plenty of trades to be had and plenty of opportunities out there. And I look forward to sharing my ideas.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, if many of you may not know, but Big Jonas and I were good friends, and I actually did YouTube videos with him back in 2018. So we love we have great banter. We really never agree on anything. But we get a great conversation. So I'm excited to see what you do with your, with that project, Super Follow, and everything else you do is great as is. At Big Jonas, he's also YouTube at Jonas Trading. I am Big Cheds. I'm a author. I've published Trading Wisdom, 50 Lessons Every Trader Should Know. It's done really well. You can get it on Kindle, hardcover, audiobook, or paperback, and free at my YouTube channel, Ched's Trading. I'm publishing one lesson at a time. I've done 16 of the 50 lessons. I do one about every 3 weeks or so, every month. So please check that out. I'm also a founding analyst at Bitcoin Live. We've had several students here tonight, which is awesome. I am one of many contributors. It's a world-class team. I've personally been doing market updates for 4 years. It doesn't matter what's going on in my life. I stop and do them twice a week, midweek and end of the week. I'm sick. I'm on vacation. I find a way to do it. It helps me practice. It helps me to get better. I continue to practice. That's what you need to do. So please consider joining Bitcoin Live. Other than that, it's great to have you folks. I love spaces. I love hearing from you. I just, we're just hanging out on Twitter. There's so much that's lost in the words. And so you get to hear from people, you hear their story, and you kind of connect, and you realize we're all kind of trying to get to the same place, but from different directions. And we're kind of all at different places in our journey. So I love kind of bridging that and bringing it all together here for a conversation. So I will upload this to YouTube as well. Anyway, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone who's listening. If I don't hear from you soon or don't talk to you soon, I hope you have a great weekend. And take care. Big Cheds out. Wow, that was fun. That was a good one. Folks, thank you. I really appreciate you tuning in today. This is the replay of the spaces I had on Twitter. It's a great conversation. I love hearing from you, seeing what your thoughts are. I'm probably going to live stream tonight, so keep an eye out for that in a couple of hours. Of course, follow me on Twitter at Big Ched. My book is Trading Wisdom, 50 Lessons Every Trader Should Know. 4 formats: Kindle, audiobook, hardcover, and paperback. I also have the free version on my YouTube channel, Ched's Trading. Check out the playlist. I right now have 16 of 50 lessons. I'll eventually have the whole book for free for you. Check out the interview series. I just interviewed Peter Brandt. It was unbelievable. It's like must watch. And other than that, tonight, if I will live stream. You want to be looking for the quick market updates playlist. This is awesome. I kind of review like a few weeks of price action. So check that out. And if you're serious about learning how to trade, you've got to join Bitcoin Live. I'm a founding analyst. I've been doing market updates there for 4 years. Whatever I'm doing, I stop and do a report twice a week, middle of the week and the end of the week. So I'd encourage you to check that out. And otherwise, thank you for joining here tonight. I will talk to you soon. Big Cheds out. Yes, love.